So here we are today, beautiful day out here in the woods. Here clearing a home site today. As you can see, it's pretty dense forest. I just cut a trail, basically cut the brush out through here so they can get a driveway. This is what I'm cutting here today, and what I have is basically, this is a boundary, comes down through here and heads that way. So I'm going to be clearing everything down here, and I walked the property with a builder or the developer and a couple days ago, and we marked out an area on this gradual sloping ground, and I think it's about an acre, maybe about 3/4 of an acre or so. So it's pretty dense, lots of medium growth trees, not a lot of small brush, but a lot of larger trees. So what I'm going to do is I like to come in here and work my boundaries first. So I'm going to come up here and clear this corner in this area and work my way in to the other corner of this hillside. I always like to leave myself an access, so I'm going to work from this area, keep my work area cleaned as I go and kind of build. I don't like going bushwhacking, like cutting a trail through here in case I have some kind of problem. So I'll just work this area, make it clean, and then work a swath down to the other corner. And then I like to work downhill. So once I get a swath cleaned out through here, I'll work my way downhill. So here we go. Let's get it on. a T770. It's a Bobcat. This has got the Bobcat slash Fecon made Mulcher head on it. They use carbide teeth. The reason I use carbide teeth is basically the area I'm in, the soil is rocky. And I don't mean like boulder rocky, I'd say it's more, call it cherty. It's got a lot of small rocks in it. And by small, I mean maybe the size of your fist and things like that. Carbide teeth are obviously more durable than the other blade type teeth that they make. Both of them have their place depending on the kind of place you're using them. I would say that the blade teeth are probably, when they're sharp, faster to cut through the wood. But you do have to sharpen them. From what I hear, people that use them, they sharpen them each work day. Carbides, I buy my carbides for $79 a piece. And they last me doing this kind of work, my kind of soil, between 300 and 400 hours. I understand people that use the blade type teeth, I think they say they cost, I don't know, somewhere between $18 and $25 a piece, but they have a life of about, from what I understand, about 80 hours. So the carbide teeth last about 300 to 400 hours, cost about $79 a piece, and the blades last about 80 hours, cost, say, $18 to $25. This customer is a developer slash builder. This is my third day on this job. I've already cleaned about 3 acres of another area. I know what they're looking to do is clear the property so they could have potential customers come out here and walk around and see the lay of the land and imagine their home on it. get people to clear the land like this. The least of what I'm clearing is material basically in the 6 to 8 inch diameter range. I'm going to leave the bigger trees. Right now it looks pretty dense, but as you'll see when I'm finished, if the batteries last when I'm finished. The batteries on these cameras last about 2.5 hours, but this might take me about 5 hours to do or so. But you'll see when I'm finished that clearing out this smaller underbrush, things in this 6 to 8 inch range will clear out about 80% of what's here. So it'll be nice and clear when I'm finished. Any customers will have a nice time walking around out here, seeing what they're getting. And also for the builders, the property will be clear so that they'll be able to get right on with their building process. Once they figure out where their home is going to be located on this property. Once they stake it out, they'll be able to selectively cut down the trees that they want. And leave the rest of the trees. So it'll look like a nice rural park-like setting. So as I'm doing this, I want to be careful not to nick up the trees that I leave, because most likely they will be viewed by the homeowner. Want to be careful as I'm going around. Try not to back into any trees. So what I like to do as I cut these trees down, I always go over them, put my drum flat on the ground so I can get these stumps of these trees flush with the ground. And eventually they'll just rot away over time. There are a few species that will try to regrow, but once the property starts getting developed, as long as no leaves start sprouting with these trees, the roots will just die off. So I don't want to leave any stumps that are going to be a problem for the builders when they get on here with their trucks and equipment. Doesn't do anything, any other kind of heavy landscaping out here. This ground actually looks nice and it's not rutted or anything, so it's pretty smooth. So if they don't do anything more with it besides keep it mowed, I don't want the stumps to be a problem for them. fairly dead, thank God. Out there, or wannabe operators, this is kind of the technique for mulching trees. I go up to the tree. The actual drum teeth are about 2 to 3 inches past the edge of the frame there. So I'll go up to the tree. I'll raise, if there's no obstacles to the left or right of me, I'll raise the drum all the way up, so it goes up about 10 feet, 11 feet, and then lower it onto the tree. Then I back drag it over to get the stumps. So that is basically the technique. The reason I drive up to the tree, kind of for safety. Anytime you're raising these drums up in the air, especially on a skid steer, this particular drum weighs 2,200 pounds. So I'm on a little bit of a downslope. So anytime you're on a slope and you raise your drum or a bucket, it changes your center of gravity in the machine. So you want to be careful, because you don't want to raise it and then move forward and stop with your drum up in the air, and then it will tip you forward. This drum is probably looking like a beast right now, cutting these big trees, but these trees are they're dead. For the most part. Get the stump. So one thing I do as an operator is I like to keep the area around the machine clear. I don't like working in tight spaces unless it's my initial, I'm just getting started and cleaning out of space to work in. So I want to be able to back up without backing into trees, denting the back of the door, the engine compartment. And I don't like scratching the sides of my machine. And then also cutting these stumps, you'll notice machine is riding pretty smooth over the ground. And that's because I'm cutting the stumps down flush. If I was sitting here bouncing and bucking like I'm riding a Bronco, that means I'm leaving wood on the ground like that. I don't want to be rolling over that stuff with my tracks. So everything in front of me, I always want to keep it clear. Okay, this area is good. So now I'll go and get these. What I like to do with these bigger trees is hit them at an angle like this instead of straight on, because if you watch, if I put mine down my drum, it'll pull the log in, and sometimes they mulch them up, and sometimes they shoot them out the back of the machine. And they'll shoot them out of the back of the machine like 50 feet. So these bigger ones I like to get a little bit of an angle, puts more cross section of the drum, puts more teeth onto the log. And the wood, just like a chainsaw, it cross cuts the wood grain better when you're sideways on the tree. Stuff on the ground where I was before I started. A lot of times it's clear why you're working there, but what you're doing is you're shooting the wood out. This wood probably got shot out back here from when I was working in another area. Cleaning this stuff up. With a dozer and level all that out, take out a couple more trees to get across that little gully. These trees I'm going to leave. Just going to get in between them. Again, there's a lot of this size is like 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches. All these trees this big, close together. Just in my experience, that's not a normal growth. Usually there's a lot smaller trees in between bigger trees, just because they compete. all these bigger trees look like the same species, so at some point when this area it might have been cleared years ago. And I'd say it was because I found some old cattle fencing. Well, these trees, if they were the dominant trees, they just grew the fastest before anything else grew up around them. Tree is bigger than 8 inches. I wouldn't normally cut down trees this big just because they take longer, but there's so many big trees in here. I don't want to leave a lot of big trees so close together. I would leave this because it's right at about 8 inches and it's a hard tree, so this T770, it's got 92 horsepower and it's designed for trees, hardwood trees in the 6 to 8 inch range. And when I say design, that's, you know, that's where you can do it all day long. And it cuts the trees faster than this. Obviously these machines can cut bigger trees, they take longer, and you don't want to constantly be slowing your drum down because it heats up the hydraulics. When the drum stops, the fluid stops. When the fluid stops, then it's not cooling. So you don't want to spend hours on end doing big hard trees that are bigger than the machine is designed for. Now, you do hear a lot of people with skid steer type machines, or probably any machines really, forestry mulchers, having hydraulic overheating problems. And I'd say that's probably due to a lot of factors. Number one being not all skid steers are engineered to do forestry mulching. Bobcat Bobcat is one of the skid steers that designs their machines. I mean, everybody knows Bobcat, and everybody knows that Bobcat has 80 or 90 different attachments that you can buy for their skid steers. So their machines are designed to run the attachments that Bobcat makes. So although Bobcat didn't make this attachment, it's made by Fecon. The machine is designed to run it. And this machine has a hydraulic flow. This is a high flow machine. And it the high flow on this T770, it's either 37 or 39 gallons a minute. So, you know, Bobcat has the head for this machine, as opposed to going out and buying some other skid steer and then going and buying some other brand of Forestry Mulcher head. It may or may not be designed for it. And as you can tell, when I'm out here forestry mulching, the speed you're seeing me work at, I will do this, I would say, well, definitely for 8 hours a day. So the only reason I got out of the machine is really to take a nature break or something like that. But once I'm in this machine is working hard. And getting back to the overheating. So number one, I would say not all machines, not all skid steers are designed to do this kind of harsh hydraulic work. And again, this one is designed to cut material in a 6 to 8 inch range. So I'm not one of those guys that are going to be out bragging that I cut down 10-inch trees all day or 12-inch trees. I don't advertise that to my customers. Because the machine is just not designed for it. Can it do it? Yeah. Can it do it continuously for 8 hours? No. So I stay within the design parameters of my machine. So the other thing that I would say that would lead to overheating of machines is not keeping your engine compartment air screens cleaned off with debris. Because as you can tell, mulch flies everywhere. And right now it's winter time, so there's not a lot of leaves. But mulch still gets on the back air intake screens. And obviously if it's covered with 2 or 3 inches of leaves or pine needles or just mulching dust, the machine has a hard time breathing. So you need the air getting pulled through by the fan to keep your oil coolers and your water coolers for your engine cool. And I'm going to stop and readjust my camera out there in a few minutes. You see these leaves that fall, they're going to get sucked in to the engine air screens and just block the airflow. So the only thing, just get out and clean off your deck. The other thing is just doing right operator maintenance. And what I mean by that is before I come out on a job, you want to make sure your hydraulic fluid levels are topped off, so you have the maximum amount of fluid in there, number one. Is a stringy tree. So you have the maximum amount of fluid in your hydraulic reservoir, so it cools, that's that maximum cooling efficiency. The other thing I do is I use compressed air to blow out my radiators, because debris on this machine, probably any kind of skid steer size machine, they will stack your radiators to save space. So what I mean by that is the main oil cooler on this Bobcat is the biggest cooler, and that happens to be on the bottom of the stack. And they're stacked like just a sandwich. So then on top of the engine oil cooler is the hydraulic fluid cooler. And there's also a fuel cooler. So this Bobcat has a gigantic fan on it. If you stand near the side exhaust, you can blow dry your hair. The amount of airflow that goes through it is so much. But it pulls it through all three of those coolers. So again, before I come out to a job, and my jobs normally last anywhere between 1 and 3 days, say. So I'll clean those coolers off with compressed air. And the other part of that is I'll clean off the engine air filter, and that collects the most just dust. So again, before I come out of job, I top off all my fluids, I clean off all my radiators with compressed air, I blow out my engine compartment if there's any mulching debris inside my engine compartment, which these Bobcats are pretty good. They don't get much debris inside the engine compartment because they have a really good, they have a bunch of canvas covers that cover all the openings in the rear deck where debris would normally fall in. And I'll show you that stuff here in a minute. So down here I can see my other orange markers going this way. So I'm almost at the back side of this work area that I'm going in. there's my line. I don't know if you can see it. It's heading off in that direction. It's heading up in that direction. So why skid steer machines that do forestry mulching overheat. So the first thing was the machine may not be designed for it. The second thing is you have to do the right operator maintenance to keep everything cleaned off and clear so the machine can operate the way it's designed. The third factor why machines overheat is the operator. So again, what you don't want to do is be getting your drum into trees or into the dirt so much and so often that your drum is stopping, that your drum is getting bogged down. Because if your drum is stopped, your fluid is not flowing through and it's not cooling. And if you do that for hours, it's going to cause the machine to overheat, even if everything else is done right. So that's the part where, as an operator, you have to run the machine right. And it's being patient, let the cutter do its thing.